In the tense corridors of Newman Enterprises, Ashby silently plotted his next move. His determination to restore his family's name had grown obsessive. With a sharp, calculating edge to his demeanor, Kane was prepared to make a deal with the devil, believing that the betrayal of Billy Abbott was a necessary sacrifice for the future. He wasn't just targeting Billy, this was about securing Lily Winters and their children's future. For Kane, the cost was justified, but he couldn't shake the feeling that betrayal came with its own consequences. At Crimson Lights, Sharon Newman's coffee-fueled concerns about her daughter, Mariah Copeland, were evident. She turned her sharp eyes on Daniel Romalotti Jr., demanding to know the truth about his growing relationship with Tessa Porter. Sharon's protective instinct had kicked in, and though she saw the connection, she wasn't convinced that Tessa was moving on for the right reasons. Daniel, looking troubled, admitted that he and Tessa had tried to keep their feelings at bay, but life had a way of moving them closer. Sharon's tone softened, but her plea was unmistakable. She wanted Tessa to reconsider her divorce. Yet Daniel couldn't ignore the growing reality. Mariah's distance was a roadblock, and Sharon's hope felt like an endless waiting game. As Sharon questioned how long Tessa could keep waiting, Daniel found himself torn. Was he being asked to step aside for Mariah's sake, or was Sharon simply trying to impose her will? Meanwhile, at the Park Cafe, Tessa had an unexpected run-in with Sienna Bacall. Sienna had arrived in town to be with Noah Newman, and their conversation quickly shifted to relationships. Sienna couldn't help but probe Tessa about her status with Mariah, sensing the tension. Tessa, feeling disillusioned, didn't believe in any happy endings anymore. As Daniel approached, Sienna shifted her focus, discussing her upcoming plans to open a club in Genoa City with Noah. The scene at Newman Enterprises was tense as Kane pushed Phyllis Summers to collaborate. Kane's idea was a dangerous gamble: give Victor Newman what he wanted, Chancellor back, and in return demand Lily and the children's safety. After that, they would retract, making sure to get what he deserved from the Newmans. But Phyllis, ever pragmatic, questioned Kane's logic. Could the Newmans be trusted? Would betraying Billy Abbott lead to an endgame that no one could predict? Despite her doubts, Phyllis saw an opening. Kane could appeal to Daniel on her behalf. If he succeeded in getting Daniel to forgive her, then Phyllis would be on board. Kane's plan was a long shot, and after his call with Phyllis, he sought out Daniel. He relayed the news, asking him to meet and discuss Phyllis's situation. Daniel, still emotionally tethered to Tessa, hesitated, but he knew the importance of the moment. Tessa, already struggling, appreciated Daniel's support. Their bond was evident, and a kiss shared between them only deepened the tension as Sienna watched from the sidelines, sensing that Daniel was falling for Tessa. Back in the coffee house, Noah's concern about his brother Nick was palpable. Sharon, too, had been anxious about Nick's plans, suspecting he might be chasing after Matt Clark on his own. But Sharon ultimately chose to believe in Nick's strategy, trusting he would be in contact when the time was right. Across town at Society, Claire Newman's disdain for Audra Charles was clear as the two women crossed paths. Claire, still holding onto her secrets, had stopped digging into Audra's past, but Audra wasn't letting up. Claire, in turn, felt Audra's interest in her ex, Kyle Abbott, and quickly realized that she wasn't about to let the situation go unnoticed. When Kyle showed up for breakfast with Claire, it only escalated the tension. Audra, sensing an opportunity, decided to poke fun at the idea of Claire and Kyle reconnecting. But Holden Novick, seated at the bar with Audra, seemed more interested in testing the waters. He encouraged Audra to be honest about her feelings for Kyle, suggesting they could both be honest with themselves and each other. Claire was already sensing that the battle wasn't over between her and Audra. Their rivalry had only intensified as Kyle voiced his desire to spend more time with Claire, which she gladly agreed to. The idea of rekindling something with Kyle seemed like a perfect distraction, but Claire knew it wouldn't be as simple as it appeared. Audra's presence would linger like a shadow, and their feud would continue to simmer beneath the surface. At Newman Enterprises, Kane was relentlessly pursuing his endgame. His meeting with Phyllis had gone smoothly, with Phyllis agreeing to the terms under the condition that Kane worked his magic on Daniel. Kane, ever the opportunist, saw the meeting as a necessary stepping stone in his broader plan. He had already decided that Billy Abbott was collateral damage. Kane's own future and his family's safety were his priority, and no matter how messy the betrayal, he would go to any length to achieve his goal. The tension between Daniel and Tessa, however, wasn't easing. Sienna had already made her move, calling out Daniel for his growing feelings for Tessa, and her words seemed to ring true as Daniel found himself questioning the depth of his emotions. Tessa, for her part, struggled to maintain her composure, but Daniel's support was unwavering. Still, Sienna's presence was a reminder that the path ahead wouldn't be easy. Was Daniel ready to fully confront his feelings for Tessa, or would his loyalty to Mariah hold him back? At Society, Holden's casual probing into Audra's feelings only added fuel to the fire. Audra's intentions were becoming more transparent, and Claire was acutely aware of the undercurrent of competition between them. Kyle, oblivious to the storm brewing, seemed content to focus on the prospect of reigniting something with Claire. But as the day unfolded, the players in this complex love triangle found themselves caught in a web of conflicting emotions and unspoken desires. Back at Crimson Lights, Sharon's unease about her family only grew. She had placed so much faith in Nick's ability to resolve the Matt Clark situation, but uncertainty still clouded her thoughts. Sharon couldn't help but feel the weight of the situation bearing down on her. Still, her hope rested on Nick's strategy, and she would have to wait and see if her faith in him was justified. With tensions running high in Genoa City, the characters were on the precipice of monumental decisions. Kane Ashby's betrayal of Billy Abbott was just the beginning as alliances shifted, relationships fractured, and the search for power intensified.